great. So like Tony said, my name is Josiah Javier. I'm from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I found out about this place because of Cindy. Actually, she kind of put my name in, and then I think it was Kenny who had set me up to get here. So I'm very thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be with the body of believers who have been through a lot and knew that they were powerless without God and His power, and because of the power of Jesus, how we can all be here and gather together in His name. I'm so thankful for that. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I have 4 siblings. I have 2 parents who are still married. They've been married since 1991. I'm the middle of 5, and so I'm the little kid. And I come from an interesting family. My dad is from the Dominican Republic. He came here to the States in 1987 to play baseball, and then he signed a professional baseball contract down there in the DR. He came to the States and he played from 87 until about 94. And then I was born in 94. It was like in that season I think he broke his leg and he was done. But he kept coaching after that, coached a little bit of Little League, which was teams that I got to play for, which was a lot of fun. And then my mom, she comes from an interesting family as well. She grew up actually in the Marshalltown area, in Anamosa specifically, and then her dad now lives in Marshalltown. But she grew up in Anamosa. She was born in Montana, came over here to Iowa, and then her dad got a job here. And her parents were both alcoholics. They got divorced, I think, back in the early 80s before she had graduated from high school. And then my dad, coming from an interesting family from the Dominican Republic, he has 9 siblings, probably 3 or 4 of them being actually full siblings, and then his parents who had those kids weren't married for any of those kids being born. So it's just a very confusing situation. And so I come along in 1994, and I grew up in this family where it's broken because of my parents and their families, and then not really knowing how to parent, what that looks like. My dad had a completely different parenting model than what was given to him when he came to the States. And for my mom, coming from her 2 parents both being alcoholics and not really knowing what to do, coming from a previous marriage actually, and then marrying my dad and then having 4 more kids. And so it's just a very interesting situation. My mom knew the only solution would be going to church. That's something that she was that she knew from her childhood. If there's one place that you can go to be fixed when you are broken, it was church. And so she put our butts in church every single Sunday. And every single Sunday we would be there. And I'm so thankful for her direction and that she was my spiritual giant growing up. And so I remember looking up at the youth pastors, and they would pour into our lives, and not just me and my siblings, but some of the kids at the other youth group, and they would just say, you have a call in your life. God has a plan for you. It was so hard to believe because I'm just this kid who's from this home that's very broken, and it's very difficult to believe that God had a plan for my life. It was as I got a little bit older that there was a specific few people who started to pour into my life. There was a youth pastor by the name of Troy, and he was at a church actually out in Martell, Iowa, and I was at a church in Marshalltown. And I went out there my junior year of high school, so this would have been 2011, so about 6 years ago now, which is great. And so Troy, he was one of those guys that I just remember, I met him, and he was so different from me. He was just he was recently married, but he was a middle-aged white guy, and I'm just like this mixed kid from Cedar Rapids, have no idea like what the outside of Cedar Rapids, the farm life, I have no idea what that's about. And that's what he grew up, that's exactly the kind of home that he grew up in. And so he just kind of, he met me, and he did this kind of, I don't know, it was like the way that he looked at me, he said, I just want to invest into you. You should keep coming back to this youth group. And I was like, it's 30 minutes away, but I'd be okay with coming out here. There's just something about you that I'm drawn to. And it was his love for Jesus. So I continued to keep going out to this youth group. So this is the end of high school. And there was a summer camp, which I think what Tony was talking about, the summer camp, if you guys can give your time to summer camps for pouring into young kids' lives, it is so worth it because I was one of those kids that I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for it anyway. And so he told me, hey, you should go to the summer camp. I would pay for you to go, and I would love for you to be there. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I would love to go, but I work with tasks, and I can do that during the summer. And so I'm not sure if I'd be able to do that. He said, well, if there's any way that you would go, I would pay for you to go. And that's the end of it. I was like, all right, well, if you're going to pay for it, then for sure I definitely want to go. I don't have that kind of money. And it was like $300-something. He paid my way to go. So I was like, cool. So I went to this camp. Long story short, I was just encountered by God in such a powerful way. I just remember thinking before I even went into that camp, that week of camp, that I want to just seek God so wholeheartedly because I've never really done that before in my past, or at least I haven't done it well. And so I remember going to this week of camp, and every time they were worshiping, I would be the first one to stand up and sing the worship songs. I'd be the last one to sit down. And when they say, let's pray, I would sit there and I would pray. I would really try to seek out God. It was probably third night in, maybe the 4th night in. that I just remember God just coming on me so powerfully. And I remember being in tears, and I was like crying so hard, like this, this kid who's in high school trying to act all tough, and I was crying so hard into the shoulder of like this freshman in high school, just like, okay, little buddy, you're all right. But I just remember, at that point, I didn't even care because God had encountered me in such a powerful way. And then Troy had told me at that week of camp, hey, I want you to come on a college visit with me at some point in time to the school called Ozark Christian College, which is in Joplin, Missouri. And I was like, okay, I don't know much about it, but I would love to go. If the walk with God is anything like what I'm feeling today, I want more of this. And so Troy ended up also having I think a few kids from his youth group that I got to join in with, and I went to a college visit to that school. And it was one of those moments that you might have in your life where you just do something, and it isn't until you step out in faith and you do it that God says, this is what I made you for. Or that you get to there, and it wasn't until you actually stepped out in faith that He said, this is why I said this. You didn't believe it. You had to believe in faith that you had to do this, but it took a leap of faith, that step of faith, and then you knew, oh, this is exactly where I was supposed to be, why I'm supposed to be doing this. And that was actually what happened when I went on this college visit. Like, we drove down from Cedar Rapids, or so I drove from Cedar Rapids to Montell. We went down to Joplin, Missouri, about 7 hours, and we pulled on campus, and I was like, man, this is a small school. And I remember when we stepped out, I stepped out of the van, and when I stepped foot on that campus, I looked around, and I just felt like this peace come over me. And the only way I know how to describe it is I knew this is exactly where I was supposed to be. And so for the last 5 years, I've been studying at Ozark Christian College, getting a youth ministry degree, because not only do I love being with youth, but I love Jesus, and it's because of my love for Jesus that I want to pour into youth, that they would, and it was the same way that I was able to at a church camp several years back, and the same way I know that God does have a plan for my life, that He's going to be with me every step of the way. And so this whole, I don't know if you guys all know what I'm doing tonight, but I'm going to do a dance piece to a song entitled He's Here. Now, just a little bit about my story from that. My freshman year at Ozark, so 2012, the story goes, I was sitting in my dorm room for the first semester of my college career, and I would spend hours just watching videos of people on YouTube who danced. And I didn't know why, but and it wasn't like I danced growing up or anything like that. But I just remember watching hours and hours and hours of people dancing. It was like the coolest thing, like these people put these movements to this music into these words. And I'm like, hey, that's so cool. I would like to do something like that. And I would like, forget to do homework sometimes, or I'd like skip a meal. I was like, oh my gosh, like I just enjoyed this so much. And so I remember I filmed myself for the first time. I get done watching this video of me, and after I just danced to this one song, and I watched this video, and I was like, wow, that is terrible. I got a lot of practice to do. And so I kept doing it, though. I kept watching these videos, but I kept practicing. And I tried to imitate some of my favorite dancers and all this different stuff. And the more that I did it, the more that I realized, hey, I'm not bad. I'm not half bad. But these videos that I like to watch, these people that I like to view, they don't really dance to the music that I would want to dance to. I mean, it's not music that necessarily glorifies God. It's not music that even uplifts people. It's about sex. It's about drugs. It's like the hip-hop culture. I'm not really about that, and I don't want to glorify that. And so I didn't even think about it at that time as I was having these thoughts and processing through this, that it was God's way of saying there's a reason why I had this desire. There's a reason why I was watching these videos for hours and hours. There's a reason why I was even trying to practice, even though I wasn't very good at the time. Well, it was because, and even now I'm still trying to figure this out and what this is going to mean in the future. It was because there's a call that God has, not only on my life, but on the lives of young people, that has to do with seeking His face and seeking His name and being in His presence. And when I had finally started to realize that, I started to take this dance thing and I started to put it into practice. And it was, again, one of those things that I stepped out in faith and did. It was about a year and a half, a little over a year ago. It was a year and a half ago. But a little over a year ago, a professor at the school that I go to at Ozark Christian College in Joplin, his name was Travis. He reached out to me. He's like, hey, I heard that you dance, and there's this chapel service coming up, and the title of the theme is creative. And it has to do with God creator, and therefore He makes all His creatures creative. And I was like, huh, that's really cool. He's like, would you want to dance for it? I was like, no, I don't know about that. But I remember him just saying, you should do this. This would be good. I know you've never really done it before, but I think it'd be a good experience. I was like, Travis, man, I don't know what I would dance to. He's like, you don't have any idea what you would dance to. And I was like, okay, I have one idea, but I've just never done it in front of people before. Maybe I do it at like a wedding reception with my brothers, or like a school dance. I would dance in front of people, but it was never on a stage, never in my life. And he's like, well, there's a first time for everything. I was like, all right. And so I remember stepping on the faith, one of those things again, and I remember putting the song on, and it was like in a speaker in my room, and I just kind of got down on one knee and I started to dance. And again, it wasn't one of those things that I went back and I watched and I was like, wow, that was really cool. It was just one of those things that I was like, you know what? If God can use this, and he can use me in this, and if it can touch even one person's life, it's going to be worth it. And so that's exactly what I did. I did it at that chapel service, and I think it was like a teen session for what was called the Preaching and Teaching Convention. So they had like a bunch of people come from kind of the Midwest area to the college who were usually associated with it. And they had youth groups from the area as well for the teen session. So I got to dance for that. And there were some people, like, as soon as I get done like performing, I usually just kind of like walk off stage because I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to hear how bad I do. But people came up to me after, and I think I heard some comments from some people after that. They're like, wow, I've never seen that in that way. I've never seen dance in such a way that it was like I came into the presence of God in a way I've never experienced before. And I just didn't really think about it at that point. And it wasn't until I was doing it more and more, and at a few more churches as I got invited after that one performance last year, that it was something about it because it was different. It is different. I don't know many people who do what I do, and that's not to say, oh, cool, I'm unique. It's just I really don't. I wish I did know more so we can dance together. But anyway, it is different. But it does bring the gospel message. And when you bring the gospel message that Jesus Christ is Lord, and you bring the gospel message that he is here, that he changes lives, no matter what kind of capacity you're doing it, it changes people. So maybe what they saw in the dance that I did or in the song that I do it to, maybe they saw something that they had never seen before. They had heard their whole lives that God is here, God is present, God is with them. But because they saw it in a different light, it's almost like a diamond. You turn it a little bit different, and the light that it shines on, you see it in a whole new way. You see a different facet of that diamond, and it changes in a way that the person's like, oh, okay, I never really saw that side. That's really pretty. And that's the gospel. Like when they saw it in this way, I was like, wow, you need to keep doing this. And people saying comments like, never stop doing this. And I said, as I'm able to, I will continue to do just that. And so kind of backtracking before I get to the performance itself, I would say that it was around the age of 17, and I'm 22 now, I turned 23 a little bit later this year, but when I was 17 years old as a senior in high school, so this would have happened about a year after I met Troy and went to this church camp and had this encounter with God. This was kind of the moment that I just put a stake in the ground, and I was like, this is how I know God is who he says he is. And so this was 2012, my senior year of high school. And there was 3 other guys that were friends of mine. There was Tim, there was Blair, and there was John. Tim and John had all grown up in the church just like I did. I grew up in a church. It was in Cedar Rapids. And then Blair had not grown up in the church at all. Blair was just a friend of ours from school who comes from, like me, and like I'm sure the rest of us come from a broken family. And Blair, he just was just kind of intrigued by our beliefs. And it wasn't like we walked them out perfectly, but it was definitely different in the way that he enacted and the things that we did. And so I remember we did this one thing called the 30-hour famine. Just kind of long story short, it's like you kind of go through and you don't eat for 30 hours. And it started as 30-hour famine, so it's called. You would not eat for 30 hours, and then you would do these experiences like you would carry water on your head for 50 meters, or you would go out and do a service project or something like that, just to kind of simulate the kind of lives that people live across seas who are in third world countries who actually don't have that food. And they have to walk not 50 meters, but 5 miles to get clean water, and it's usually not even clean. And so it's kind of like experiences like that, and the 4 of us all took part in that 30-hour famine. Well, Blair came to, who wasn't a Christian, and he was so moved by that. He was like, is this really what Christians do? Like, yeah, I mean, it's not like we do this kind of event all the time, but this is what we do. We make aware that which is taking place to our brothers and sisters across the world, and there's people on the planet, but also we just draw near to God in these moments. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I want to know more about this. And so through a conversation like that, and the 3 of us, Tim, John, and I, we're like, you know what? We should try to have a Bible study, and we should try to make Blair come be a part of it. And so that was our plan, and we said, hey, Blair, it wasn't like the 3 of us, ganging up on him. We were just like, hey, Blair, you and I and the other 2 of us, the 4 of us all together, we should all do a Bible study. And Blair's like, you know what? I would actually want to do something like that. That would be really cool. And we're like, all right, Blair, yeah, dude, so we'll do it on this date, and it was after school, and it was June 4th, 2012, and I'll never forget it. And what we did is we got to John's house, and we went to, and his mom was there, and she had cookies for us and whatnot. Yes, cookies, always good. And so we went to John's basement, and we just, instead of having this Bible study, we actually just told each other our stories. And so we took 2.5 hours for the 4 of us, and maybe it was 2 hours, but it was a long time just the four of us talking about how we grew up and where along the line we encountered God. And even for Blair, that he was just like, oh, my story is that I just grew up without really going to church. And that's kind of it. And this is me, this is what I do, this is what I struggle with. And it was just a very authentic time. And the four of us, we all just kind of got together, and there was a lot of tears shed, there was a lot of smiles, and parts of our stories that we identified with each other. And then there was, again, tears for just the parts that we realized the struggles, and some of us had the same struggles. And then we just all identified with each other in this moment. And we were like, wow, you know what we should do next? I remember like kind of standing, I was like, you know what we should do next, guys? We should rededicate ourselves to the Lord. You know, we should just give ourselves back to Him and say, like, this is where we're going to put a stake in the ground. And so the four of us, we all circled up, and we put our arms around each other, just four brothers, and four friends, four brothers, and we start praying. Oh, thank you so much. And so the four of us, we all start praying, and I'll never forget the order that it went with me, Blair, the one who didn't grow up in the church, and then John and Tim. And so I'm sitting here with these other three guys, and I prayed. And I was like, Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, and God, we're thankful for the transformation that's taking place even now. And I just say this prayer, you know, God, I want to give myself back to you. I am yours. Do with me what you want to do, and I pray that the call that you have on my life, I would realize what that is, and I would walk faithfully in that. And so it's just something like that, you know. It's a good prayer, but it's sounds pretty typical, right? So Blair goes next, and Blair, I'll never forget this. Just this man who is, again, not grown up in the church. He doesn't know the church ease or the church talk. He doesn't know any of it. And so he prays one of the most authentic prayers I've probably ever heard in my life. And I say, in Jesus' name, amen. He's just sitting there. He's the second one to go. And he goes, God, I don't even know what I'm saying right now, and I don't even know where you're at. And I don't know everything about you, but I do know this. I do know that you can change lives, and I know that you can change me. And he just goes on. He just prays his prayer, just authentically, in such a way that I was like moved. And all the other two guys are just like, oh my goodness, like he is just so honest and talking to God right now. And he just, he goes in and continues in his prayer. God, I just pray that you would continue to change me. I don't even know what that looks like. And he just goes on and on. We're just moved by this. And he's like, amen. He finishes up. John's standing across from me in the circle. And John and I were both of the four of us praying for Blair to give himself back to God. So John, immediately after Blair gets done, just starts breaking down in tears. Because he's overwhelmed by the very fact that his friend, our friend Blair, had just given himself to Jesus. And he just was overwhelmed as he was giving himself back to Jesus as well, rededicating himself back to him. And he just, again, he just says this prayer. John says this prayer, which is this rededication. He just, God, I give myself to you. Tim goes next, I give myself to you. And the four of us, we say amen, and we all go and sit down. And it's kind of like this setup where there's like kind of a couch in the back of the living room, and then one off to the side. So I go and I sit down, and one guy sits here, another one there, and another one there. And I kid you not, and to this day, I still call those three guys just to recount this part of the story because it was so powerful. We all get done praying, and we all sit down, and I'll never forget, all of a sudden, without even seeing what had happened, the power of the Holy Spirit fell on us so powerfully that I was overwhelmed. All four of us were overwhelmed with tears, and I could not even stand up. The four of us were just immediately crying. We had no idea what had happened. And I was just sitting there, and I just remember being just kind of brought to my knees from my seat. And I just was brought to my knees. And the presence of God had come over so strongly. And it was something that I felt before, kind of similar to the experience I had the year before, but unlike anything I'd ever tasted of from this world. And I was just so overwhelmed. Wow, God, you are powerful. And there was something funny that had really happened. Blair was crying so hard, so he's over here, sitting on the side of the couch. And he was crying so hard, he took his shirt off. He blew his nose into his shirt. I was like, who does that? And it was just so crazy that this had happened in the context of us giving ourselves to him willingly after telling our stories and being vulnerable with each other, our struggles, our addictions, all this different stuff, and giving it back to God. And him doing that, and the other four of us all doing this together. And Blair said something that I will always be able to go back to that moment and realize how authentic and how real that situation was. And the reason why I always look back at that situation when things get tough for me, or when I go through struggles, or when I wake up on those days and the last thing I want to do is be faithful to God. And I look back at days like that because in the context of that situation, again, Blair, not grown up in the church, he doesn't know scripture, he doesn't know church talk, any of that kind of thing. So Blair, He's sitting there, he's weeping. And what he says is, I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling right now. It's not kindness. It's not even joy. It's not even happiness. The only way I know how to describe what I'm feeling right now is love. I feel love. I feel love. And the only thing I can think is, well, John writes about that when he says God is love. And I've always been able to go back to that story since then, June 4th, 2012. And I remember that God changes people. He doesn't change me. He changes everything. He transforms us. And I've been walking in that since. So that's a little bit about my story, how I got to where I am, a little bit about me. If you have any questions after we're done here, feel free to talk to me. But I do have this performance that I want to do real quick for you. I'm going to kind of be in this area. And so if you guys want to stand, you can. It'll be a little easier to see because I'll be kind of down for a little bit of it. So if you guys want to stand up real quick, and I'll set this mic down.
He is here. He's right here. In this room, in your heart. He is near, nearer than breath, heartbeat, nearer than you are to you, closer than second chance or next opportunity, closer than tonight or yesterday. He is real, more real than touch, see, hear, smell, and taste. More real than reality. He is our reality, more real than joy, pain, sorrow, or the love of being in love. He is present like space, wind, time, silence, night. He is waiting like creation, like words on the tip of tongue, like songs that have yet to be sung. He is beauty in oranges, blues, every hue, every shade, sunset and sunrise, whisper his name. He is holy, cannot be touched, explained like sweet seconds of prayer, like grandmother on knees, wood floor bare. He is old hymns, the stitching of limbs, stretched across trees, stripes to heal disease. He is Son, distinctly three, distinctly one, the only wise, the only resurrector of lives. He is King. No number of elegant words can espouse him. He is moment and voice, power of choice in word and deed, in fruit and seed, nailed hands, nailed feet, innocent wounds that bleed. He is believed. He is all. He is call and purpose. Everything we can sacrifice, he's worth it and more, much more. Our deeds are mere peace, will never even score. He is behold and wow. He is who, what, when, why, how. He's the one who puts on the show. He's the one who keeps on his feet. He is so high and he is infinity that no one decides him to hold. No one can be your culture. He is a God. He is a Father's love. Maker of ways for earth and place. Ancient of days. Have no fear. Have no fear. Have no fear. Our God is here.
So that is the message, that he is here. You guys can see. He is here. And if I could take that message to Judea, to Samaria, to the ends of the earth, as long as I live to my last breath, and as long as I'm able, I will. So thank you for letting me join you guys tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pray. I'll hand it back over to Tony. Heavenly Father, you are so good. God, we are thankful for your Son, Jesus. We would not be here without him. We are thankful for your presence of the Holy Spirit indwelling us broken and needy, and we need you, and you choose to indwell us, and we're thankful. Father, as we come to you tonight, there are so many stories in this room. People have been serving faithfully you longer than I've even been alive. People have much more to say about their lives and your faithfulness in their life than I do right now. But God, we gather under your name. Thank you for the victory that has already happened in this room, or the various stories of 20, 30 plus years addiction free. Thank you for the victory that is going to continue to happen in their lives, and for the people who have not been, as they would maybe say, clean, or have not gotten rid of some of these addictions. I pray that you would continue to let them know that your strength is sufficient for them, and God, that you will break those very chains by the power of the cross, and we are so thankful. Lord, you are writing a beautiful story here. Thank you for the bride of Christ, and that I've been able to be an encouragement to the one here in Tama, Iowa. And God, I pray that as I go, I will never forget the people here who you encourage me with. Thank you for Kenny, for Tony, for Larry, for Gage, and for Byron, for these people who I've met in this congregation, people who love you, who serve you. And I'm thankful for each and every single of those who I won't even know their name, and yet I've been encouraged by them. Pray that I would leave knowing how much you are doing in their lives, and I will continue to pray for them. Lord, thank you for your Son, ultimately Jesus. It's in his name that we pray all these things. Amen. Amen.